Record again, Funnel. Hold on.
Okay. Tell me when.
Okay, I'm recording.
Okay. Good afternoon, Professor Perez. My name is Fernando Perez.
Good afternoon, Professor. My name is Enrique Muñiz.
Good afternoon, Professor. My name is Eric Sanchez.
And we did our presentation on the ozone layer, also called the guardian of the Earth. So what is the ozone layer and what caused the current hole in it? The ozone layer is found within the stratosphere, which is the second layer of the atmosphere going upward. We learned this in the atmosphere chapter of this course. And it contains a strong concentration of ozone, which is a toxic, unstable gas made up of 3 oxygen molecules, as shown in this picture. Ozone has the ability to trap about 98% of ultraviolet radiation that reaches Earth's atmosphere from the sun, and it would otherwise damage the DNA of organisms in the surface. During the late 20th century, scientists began noticing that concentrations of ozone were falling within the poles of the Earth. And this was as a result of chlorofluorocarbons, also called CFCs, which were being produced at unprecedented levels. This was mainly found in refrigerants, plastic products, and aerosol cans. When CFCs rise to the stratosphere, they are broken down into chlorine by the sun. This causes a chain reaction that separates the 3 oxygen particles of ozone into an oxygen particle and a chlorine monoxide, which damages the current ozone layer. Eric, if you would please go. It seems like our partner is having some issues with internet. Kika, could you read this for us?
Yeah. Why is the ozone layer important? The ozone layer is one of the most important features of Earth, and it is one of the main reasons life flourishes here. The ozone layer absorbs excessive radiation from the sun, shielding life on Earth from it. Oh, Eric is back. Eric, could you continue on ozone is especially effective, please?
The ozone layer is one of the most important features of Earth, and it is one of the main reasons life flourishes here. The ozone layer absorbs excessive radiation from the sun, shielding life on Earth from it. Ozone is especially effective at trapping ultraviolet radiation, which is UV light, which can damage DNA molecules in many kinds of organisms after penetrating protective layers. UVB light can cause sunburns and cancers. However, UVA light is even more damaging than UVB. UVA can cause deadly conditions like melanoma, skin cancer, and premature aging. If the ozone layer is degraded, there can be devastating impacts on all living things, not just humanity. UV radiation affects natural terrestrial and aquatic environments by altering food chains and biochemical processes, as well as productivity in agriculture. The negative environmental effects of an ineffective ozone layer are countless, which is why it is an utmost importance to protect the shield that makes life possible on Earth.
Historic efforts to fix the ozone hole. Addressing the ozone hole problem was no easy feat. In the 1970s, scientists began to realize the detrimental effects that man-made chemicals, especially chlorofluorocarbons, had on the ozone layer. The hole in the ozone layer was finally discovered in 1985. This raised alarm throughout the entire world. In 1985, the Vienna Convention for Protection of the Ozone Layer was adopted around the world, later adopting the Montreal Protocol. In 2008, it became the only UN environmental agreement to be ratified by every single country. About 99% of ozone-depleting substances have been phased out, which has led to the replenishment of the ozone hole. Since this was an immediate existential threat to humanity that was very evident, countries bound together to fix the hole, which is why the efforts to fix it were so successful. In this graph right here, we could see the ozone depleting substance consumption of the world. In 1989, it was at its peak and it drastically went down after awareness was raised about the detrimental effects of CFCs on the ozone layer. CFCs was one of the CFC chemicals were the most damaging chemicals to the ozone layer, and they have been phased out. And now we are using substitutes that are not as damaging to the ozone, which is great for the environment and the world. We have our works cited page here. We used a source from the European Commission, another source from the UNEP, another source from the BBC, and the National Geographic site. Thank you, Professor, for a great semester, and I hope you liked our presentation.
Thank you, Professor.